Hey, thanks for watching. This is Spencer with Computer Advantage, and today we are going to take a quick look at the new MacBook Air with the M2 processor. So here it is in the new midnight color, and we got to say it is very thin and lightweight. Really great feel. You'll see as we go through the video that it has the aesthetics of the MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch, and so we're going to do a quick comparison with the M1 MacBook Air and the M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, just to get an idea on size differences and things like that. So let's bring over those two machines and take a look. So here we have the M1 MacBook Air, the M2 MacBook Air, and the M1 Pro MacBook Pro 14-inch. And so you can see the size difference. Actually these are almost identical in height. So when you have it open working, they're almost identical because you can see the border, you can see the big black bezel across the top and on the sides where the new MacBook Air trims down and takes that design from the Pro and puts it in the Air. So you have the notch, which I've been using my MacBook Pro 14-inch since January, so for about 6 or 7 months, and I have not even noticed the notch. So you get a little extra height on your display with the M2 MacBook Air versus the M1. So your width is the same, but your height is a little bit higher, accounting for that menu bar. Basically, you gain the height of the menu bar. So, and then you can see that the 14-inch, which is a 14.2-inch, this is 13.6. You do get a little bit more screen real estate there. So let's just take a quick look at comparing these and see what we can find. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the ports. So on the M2 MacBook Air, we have MagSafe 3, which is the same as the 14-inch Pro, and we have two USB-C style connectors, so that supports Thunderbolt and USB. And same thing on the 14-inch Pro. The MacBook Air M1 only has the USB ports on it, no MagSafe. So that is an upgrade. Along with getting the M2 chip, you are adding MagSafe back, which was gone for several years on the Apple MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. All right, so on the other side, which would be the right side when you're looking at it, not much is happening on the MacBook Air. So the MacBook Air M2 follows suit of the MacBook Air M1 with just your standard 3.5mm headphone jack. Your MacBook Pro, if you are debating on which Mac to get, the MacBook Pro 14-inch does give you your HDMI port, an extra USB-C style Thunderbolt connector, and an SD card reader. Let's talk about the weight of the MacBook Air. So the new MacBook Air M2 is the lightest of the three machines, just slightly lighter than the MacBook Air M1, about 1/10 of a pound. But when you're holding it, compared to the M1 MacBook Air, it definitely has a completely different feel, and it is noticeably thinner, even though it's not tapered like the previous generation. It's thinner all the way through, and it just feels like a lightweight computer. So you're definitely getting a very compact, lightweight machine when you get the MacBook Air. It does live up to its name of Air. And then of course, when you go over to the Pro feels hefty. Even though it's 3.5 pounds versus 2.7, that extra heft is very noticeable. Still not a real heavy computer, but man, when you pick up this Air, it feels like you're not picking up anything compared to the 14-inch Pro. So overall, the MacBook Air M2 is a nice, solid upgrade over the M1. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, better display, better camera, MagSafe was brought back, and all those things just make it a nice, solid upgrade. So for a couple $100 more over the M1 MacBook Air, I think it's a solid upgrade, definitely worth a couple $100 in my opinion. But if those things don't matter to you, the M1 MacBook Air is still available. It's still a great machine, and it can save you a couple $100. Please come check it out in one of our stores so you can pick it up, feel it, test it out, see if it's the right machine for you. And we hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.